a book review of Machine Man, the complete collection. This is from Marvel Comics by Kirby and Ditko, two of the greats. However, it's not complete because it doesn't include the 2001 Space Odyssey, which is a pity. However, I expect for licensing reasons. It does include a vast amount of other material. It's got Machine Man 1 to 19, Incredible Hulk 235, 237, as well as material from Incredible Hulk 234, as well as Marvel Comics Presents issue 10. So it's 430 pages, coloured predominantly all the way through, and just a brilliant book. So 2016, Ditko and Kirby, or Kirby and Ditko, because it's Kirby initially, and you got the initial Machine Man, you got the covers, of course, you got the standard covers, you got the contents page, and you got some great Kirby action all the way through. You got Cosmic Adventure, you got this awesome character that Machine Man faces, you got some wham bams, crash, all very dramatic as usual from Kirby. Just brilliant stuff, just beautifully coloured, restored, etc. And I love the stories. So once you got that, then it's suddenly Kirby, of course, suddenly leaves. I don't know why, what the reason was. However, what does it say at last? I'm just going to go through to the last page of the Kirby one. Then you got the Hulk. So you got the Hulk story, and actually, this is a bit where it's slightly confusing. Oh, yeah, it actually does say to be continued in the Incredible Hulk. Watch for it, which is good. Always watch for it. Didn't get a vast cast list, I think, in the Kirby one. I mean, there was this sort of organisation, etc., that was okay. It was sort of put there. I don't know why I just didn't introduce the Hydra. Sort of, it was basically the Hydra. But you've got the story here with Sale Buscema's Hulk and against Machine Man. And there's actually a lovely scene in here that I just, or panel, I should say, where Monster and Machine, this is issue 235. Welcome to Central City, the birthplace of the Fantastic Four. No, I never really thought about Central City being the birthplace. I always thought it was New York, but Central City. Oh well, must go back and have a look at Fantastic Four #1, just to have a check. Does it mention Central City? I guess it must do. Well, you got that story, decent enough story. Then, weirdly, at the end, I'm just going to go to the end. This is the Hulk story. It's got the Saga Machine Man, the Living Robot, as if they were going to call it that series. The Living Robot. It sort of suggested that the comic book was going to be called that. Obviously, Marv Wolfman and Steve Ditko, and I love Steve Ditko's work, so over the moon with that. And I personally love Kirby's, but I have to say I preferred the Ditko ones. Lots of people probably the other way around. I'm certainly probably thought, oh, it went downhill with Kirby. But I love Kirby's work. Just brilliant. Machine Man, all new, all different. Birth of a superhero. He's back, greater than ever. Well, I have to say, not strictly true. As they changed things, he's probably less than he was. However, the stories are greater. Maybe that's what they meant. Personally, I think they're better. This is issue 10. This is a story of X51. He's a thinking computer. Didn't mention who Machine Man was. I make an assumption that everyone knows who Machine Man is. Aaron Stack tries to find his place in the world. Not quite ready for him. So that's the renewal, as it says. A bit like Logan's Run. Renewal. Anyway. So you've got this scientist involved. Obviously, you've got Colonel Cragg again. You've also got, you actually see literally the origin because you see the father of X51. The villains are, obviously in the Kirby ones, are cosmic. With the Ditko ones, they're virtually like down to sort of a much more human scale. You've got a character here who's basically like the looter in Spider-Man. There's a lot of feel of Spider-Man again in this. Maybe that's just me reading something into it that probably isn't there. But you've got a good support. You've got the psychiatrist who was in earlier anyway. But you've also got insurance company. He works for an insurance company. Mundane job sort of thing, doing all sorting out things. But it gives him an opportunity, a bit like Clark Kent, where you've got obviously him being a reporter. He goes out and investigates things. Well, this time he can go as a report, obviously an insurance investigator. So it's good. And you got a really nice cast. You got some fun characters, and well, I don't want to spoil it because they are really nice little cast characters. And of course, it would have been great if the series had continued on for many, and I'm certain it would have developed even more. But that's always the way. Issue 19 was the last one. You've got this villain who's a bit like Kingpin. Now, again, I'm referring to Spider-Man. I shouldn't do that. However, this character really sort of is like Kingpin to me. But he isn't Kingpin because he doesn't actually. But there's a similarity, the look of. However, got this lovely. He's a pleasant guy. And you've also got this one where it's got his character sort of misunderstandings, duplications, confusions, but also you've got introduction of this engineer character. That's really quite a nice addition. But you've also got other characters as well. That's the thing that I like about Ditko. He always put in these other support characters so much better than sort of, but again, each their own on that. Poor old Machine Man gets into a whole load of problems. He has got a weakness. He's got his kryptonite, basically. Kryptonite that causes him, it's not kryptonite, but there is a problem that causes him lots of problems all the way through. Mysteriously, of course, he can always seem to recover from it. He always repairs himself or whatever, as you expect. He's got a great villain in here that is like Doctor Strange as well. So there's a lot, you can sort of like look at this, and I know that's really stretching the stories, and maybe Mysterio. But you've got like the Liz Allen character and so on. We haven't got Flash Thompson. They could have had him in, I suppose. You've also got a character which I think is very similar to some, I think, one in Charlton comics. You've got Madame Menace. A great character as well. But Ditko, of course, the artwork changes. But I think the artwork is just superb. I just think Ditko's artwork was always great. Though it did vary depending on, sometimes obviously, on the inker. But in this one, I don't know who's the inker actually in this. Let's have Peter Kirsch. I don't know if he consistently did all of the issues. No. Diana Alberts. Oh, got the top. The Living Robot. Machine Man, the Living Robot. But it's not actually on the cover. That's weird. But there's actually a lovely scene later on, and I'm not going to say anything what happens, but you've still got the good old Brickman, sort of this senator, congressman that's causing problems. That's the sort, basically he's the Jameson character. Though there's not equivalent, I suppose, of Crag. But you got Madame Menace. I think Madame Menace is a great character. And then you go on to issue 19, and you got Jack O'Lantern. Well, it's obviously the Green Goblin. I could have said Green Lantern, but it's not. It's Green Goblin. It looks basically the same. It is the Green Goblin. But a good story all the same. It's just great artwork all the way through the story. And then got a weird one here. It's a poster for some weird reason with, I suppose because it was part of Marvel Comics Presents, which of course is a series of ones that combined lots of different things. So you got Wolverine, the conclusion. You got plus 3 more all new features. Obviously Colossus. So you got that. And then you got this story, which didn't really add much to the storyline at all. In fact, actually, it is actually slightly confusing. And that's one slight criticism. Sometimes the story jumps a bit. You think, oh, hang on, what? In places. But in this case, it definitely jumps big time. Because suddenly you've got story completely is different. I don't know why they added this story. It didn't really fit in with the previous stories. However, that's minor. Some bonus material at the back. I love this one. It's some editorials by Jack Kirby. From out of the fiery pits comes Ghost Rider. And you've got some other extras as well. Got some ads. You've got some original art. Of course, brilliant Kirby art there. And you've got cover art original from issue 8 and other things. So I love this volume. This is just great stories. If stories of the Ditko ones, the villains become a bit weaker, but you've got the cosmic scale ones at the start. So it's just great. Good stories all the way through. I'm really pleased I got this volume. So Machine Man, the complete collection.